I have a lot of great memories from Nacht Der Untoten from World at War Zombies. In fact, my first ever COD Zombies experience was from Nacht Der Untoten. Now, in this particular instance, I didn't play it, and I didn't even know what the game was, but I went over to my neighbor's house for whatever reason, and him and my other neighbor were playing Nacht Der Untoten. Now, since I was the youngest of the three neighbors, I wasn't allowed to play. I was just allowed to sit and watch. But that was just absolutely traumatizing to me. And now I look back on it and laugh, but to little second grade me, Nacht Der Untoten was the scariest thing I had ever seen up to that point. Just the dark environment, the hisses, the growls, the zombie designs, seeing like zombies get dismembered, that traumatized me for a while. And whenever I actually would first play Nocturne and Toad, wouldn't be for about 4 years down the road, I want to say. Now, this gets a little interesting. My mom's boyfriend's friend was having a small party with some of the neighbors around that area. So we all went over to his house. And my mom's boyfriend's son and my mom's boyfriend's neighbor's son were friends, and I think that the friend saw that I wasn't really getting along with anyone there. Like, not that I wasn't getting along, I just didn't fit in. And he was like, "Hey, dude, you can just go play my Xbox." And I was like, "Oh, thank God," because I was really shy at the time and I didn't really socialize that well. So being told, "Hey, you can just go over here in the corner and do your own thing," was like a huge relief to me. And at the time, I was really big into Call of Duty, and he had two Call of Duty games, Modern Warfare 2 and World at War. And I thought World at War looked cooler, like the cover of it. So I said, okay, I'm gonna play World at War. So I played around with the campaign for a little bit, and then I decided to test out Zombies mode. And the only map he had was Nacht Der Untoten. Your first Nacht Der Untoten experience is something you cannot recreate. I wish I could recreate my first time playing Nacht Der Untoten. I don't remember what round I made it to, but I was very creeped out, but also very, what's the word, into it, submerged. I was like, whoa. And something did, spark in the back of my mind. Oh, okay, that's that game I saw when I was in the second grade all those years ago. And I think I remember getting the ray gun at one point and just being so scared to even move. Like, I was just really creeped out by all the zombies. I was a bit of a scaredy cat at the time, I'm not gonna lie. And like, I was mesmerized, but I was over here like shaking in fear. I'm sweating, there's sweat running down my face. I'm gripping that controller for dear life as the zombies really just start pouring in. I'm just trying to fend them off with like a ray gun. And I think I played maybe 3, 4 games, and that was it for then. And later down the road, I would get my own copy of World at War from the middle school black market. I want to say this was in the sixth grade. I don't remember what I traded for it, but what I do remember is that that disc it was almost at the end of its life. It had like 3 cracks in it. One of them was like an inch deep, going from the center out. There was like an inch long crack in that thing, and somehow it still worked. It would crash every now and then, but somehow that disc worked, and I would go on to play Nocturne and Toten a bit more. I wasn't a huge fan of it because I'd been used to like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, the more safer mechanics. There weren't black hole zombies. The knife wasn't super wonky, but I did play it every now and then. I wasn't very good at it. Normally, my strategy was to just get an LMG and maybe the ray gun and just camp in a corner as long as I could. I remember like the first time I used the Molotov cocktails, I think I killed myself with them because they have such a high blast radius. It's like if you don't know what you're doing with the Molotovs on World at War, you're probably going to down yourself. And I did the same thing with the Panzer Shrek. Shooting a zombie that was too close because splash damage is very much a thing in World at War zombies. And I do remember playing it online with a couple other kids I met. I think we were playing like Black Ops 2 Zombies, and we were all like, hey, you want to go play Nacht Der Untoten instead? And we were like, oh, okay, that sounds fun. And at this point, I had learned a little bit about it from the Smith Plays, watching his videos, and I was getting a little bit better. And I remember I think I got like the double barrel from the mystery box, well, the sawed-off double barrel, to be more specific. I think that's what happened. And I asked one of the kids I was playing with. I was like, "Hey, is the double barrel a good weapon?" And this girl, I don't know, I don't know what her name was, but she was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, it's a great weapon." And to this day, I do think that the sawed-off double barrel is one of the best weapons you can use on Noct. I remember one time I was playing online with some random dude. We didn't have mics or anything, but or well, I did have a mic, but I wasn't using it on that game, and we did pretty good. We had a pretty good game of Noct, and then he invited me to a game of Verrückt, and I was so disappointed that I couldn't accept it because I didn't have the Verrückt DLC pack. And probably about this time, early seventh grade, late sixth grade, my best friend, well, one of my best friends, finally got World at War on the PS3. He had a PlayStation, I had an Xbox, and I went over to his house and we played around with the campaign a bit. But we had a blast playing Nacht Der Untoten. We both sucked at it, but we had fun. We had fun. Yeah, a lot of great memories, hanging out with my friend in person, playing it with my sister. My sister didn't really like Nacht Der Untoten, because, well, it is a very challenging map, especially to a beginner. And she would play it with me from time to time, but she was normally like, nah, can we play Black Ops 2 instead? And I'd be like, just one game of Noct, please. She was like, okay, fine, but then we're playing Black Ops 2. And on a separate note, I would actually later go on to sell that super cracked disc to GameStop at full price. They were paying like $11 for it, believe it or not. And normally they're like, "Oh, it has this microscopic scratch on it. We gotta make a deduction." This guy was just super chill. He's like, it's my last. Maybe it was his last day here, and he was like, it's my last day. I'll give this kid full price for it. Why not?" Good memories. Good memories. Well, that's all for me today, folks. Do you have any nostalgic memories of World at War zombies, or just COD zombies in specifically, or just COD zombies in general, you'd like to share? Tell me down in the comments. And for anyone new here, I mostly play, review, and discuss zombie and horror games, so feel free to check out some of my other content if that sounds like something you might enjoy. Always remember that Jesus loves you all very much. Thanks again for watching. Peace.